attacked by crows, and you can see just the difference between the crows are like flapping around and being annoying. The eagles are just...
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing good on this Friday morning. Rainy and storming in Dallas-Fort Worth today. Out running some errands. Happy to have you guys along. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rick. Driving my CyberBeast I've had for just over 3 months. We're still rocking FSD version 13.2.8. We got a famous Chuck Cook unprotected left turn here with high-speed traffic from both directions. I think we can start here. Well, we thought we could start here. Get halfway across. There we go. Go now. Go now. Good job. I was in Colorado a couple of weeks ago in the truck and had some incredible snowstorms, just near whiteout conditions at night. And FSD just did a fantastic job. You couldn't see the lane dividers. That was a 1,600 mile round trip, maybe 1,700 or 1,800 with the miles while I was there. But other than some extremely high wind in the panhandle of Texas and in New Mexico and southern Colorado, had just like straight line winds of 50, 60 miles an hour. That had to take over a couple times to keep the truck in the road. It was pulling it off the center line of the road and just onto the shoulder. But other than that, fantastic trip. Chauffeur, say about 98% of the way. That was my first trip out of town, well, other than a trip to Austin for my grandson's birthday in February. The trip to Colorado was the only real car trip I've taken in the truck. anybody out there watching that's not familiar with FSD or full self-drive, go to a Tesla store in your area and take a test drive. They'll give you a little car key, and you got 30 minutes by yourself to go test drive and enjoy the drive with and without the full self-driving. To engage it on the truck and most of the cars, you just double tap this round button here, and that puts it in full self-drive and takes it out. But it's just super cool. I thought I knew quite a lot about Tesla. Been a fan for a long time, been a stockholder for a long time. But it wasn't until last October, I guess, that I ever took a test drive. I drove the Model X and the CyberTruck. Both just absolutely phenomenal. Quiet ride. And the FSD was surprisingly good. You hear stuff on the news, oh, Teslas catch on fire, oh, Teslas cause fatalities. Well, in the three and a half months I've had this truck, that's not accurate information. I've heard Elon say a couple of times that anybody that doesn't like FSD or has something bad to say about it, they haven't experienced it. I know from my own experience that's absolutely true. If all you hear is what you hear from the news, it's completely twisted backwards, as you all now know, for political reasons. Well, that's too bad, because this is just an incredible piece of technology. Without a doubt, FSD drives better than I do. Its reflexes are much quicker than mine. And it can certainly see better than I can. Even with glasses, I can only see one direction at a time. The truck, I think, has 8 or 9 cameras that it can see all at the same time. And it doesn't require any reaction time. Several times on the trip, it would see something before I did and make an adjustment or change lanes to get out of someone's way that were trying to move into our lane. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, they do call it supervised FSD, supervised full self-driving. You can't take a nap, you can't read a book, you can't look at the screen, can't look at your phone for longer than 5-6 seconds, or you'll get a unfriendly warning to pay attention to the road. Nothing audible, it's just a little thing right here that says pay attention to the road. And if you don't see it or don't pay attention and turn the wheel or something, then you get a more stern notice with another visual only, no audible alarm. And then if you don't do something really quick, you'll get this pulsing blue band of light up here. I call it the blue bar of death. If you don't do something instantly with that, then you get a strike, and full self-drive disables and says you can't use it again until you reach your destination, which is a bad thing. You get 5 strikes, and then you can't use FSD for 7 days. It'll take 5 weeks to get all 5 strikes off. It'll take 1 week for each strike. You'll say, oh, that can't be right. Paid $8,000 for full self-drive. They can't take it away from you. You paid for it. No, they can, and they do. I got my truck on Sunday, December the 22nd, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 3:30 I had 3 strikes. 2.5 of those were my own fault because I didn't really know what I could and couldn't do. Didn't know how to pay attention to what was going on. Never used it before. And 2 days later, Christmas Day, Christmas morning to be exact, I was going to take a trip down to Austin to see my son and daughter-in-law and 2 grandsons. Surprise. And I was barely out of the neighborhood when I got the 5th strike. I was so disappointed. I just turned around and went home. So you have to pay attention to what you're doing. But once you understand that and know that you can't be playing with the map or the GPS or putting in additional stops, you just can't do that while it's on FSD. You can turn it off and then play with that as careful as you can. Like texting and driving is not really wise. Then you get all your stuff done, or do it before you pull out of the driveway at home, and then turn that all on. And then everything's great. It's taken me 6 or 8 strikes to finally get it through my thick head. You need to do something or adjust these cameras, you just need to pull over. FSD is also extremely courteous. Cars are pulling out of shopping centers, and if we're in the right-hand lane and see someone kind of stick their nose out, it'll slow down, change lanes if it's openly available. Otherwise, we'll slow down and let them out. Same thing in a parking lot. If you're driving along in front of a storefront or something and FSD sees the people, you can see that it sees the people. And if someone comes to the edge of a curb, it'll slow down or stop to make sure they're not going to walk out in front of you. Folks, I'm going to take a pit stop for lunch. You guys hang in there, have something to eat yourself, and I'll check in with you in a bit. Still raining, still nasty outside, but it's Friday afternoon. It was right here. What was that fell off? Oh well. Everybody got their Final Four in the March Madness. I didn't get into any brackets this year. My son lives in Austin and usually invites me to his group. I think he did this year too. I just didn't get back to him. I think I read Texas and Duke are both 2 of the 4. And I usually like those. See if I can see who else. How come ESPN doesn't have it? Men's basketball. You can see I just don't keep track of it enough. Tesla stockholders out there. Yeah, me too. Down 25 points today, down 15 yesterday. Wow. You know what I think? I think it's a buying opportunity. Tesla's got the unsupervised cyber taxis. Or maybe it's going to be Model Ys with version 14. I guess we don't know for sure, but everyone keeps reaffirming that we're going to have the driverless cyber taxi or robo taxi or cyber cab in June in Austin, 2 months away. And then hearing more great things about the humanoid robots. Heard they may have as many as 5,000 or 10,000 by the end of the year. First ones are going to be sent home with some Tesla employees to test out. Beta testers, I guess. If any of you watch Joe Tegtmeyer's YouTube channel on, he does the flown flybys on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. he's just seen hundreds and hundreds of CyberTrucks in the new Model Y in the outbound lot. I think it was a week ago, week ago, between Monday and Wednesday, went from 0 or almost 0, maybe 10 or 15 CyberTrucks to over 400. Then by Friday, those were gone. I think in the last 10 working days, I haven't seen his thing today, but there was probably 300 on the outbound lot as of Wednesday. Of course, I'm driving my CyberTruck. I'm a CyberTruck fan, of course. Well, I'm a fan of all the vehicles. I test drove a Model X last October when I test drove a CyberTruck also. Fell in love with both of them. I just picked this because it's bigger, heavier, sits up a little taller. Love it more every day. When you're sitting inside the cab, you have no idea, or you forget how ugly, how ugly it is. Weird shape, weird angles. But even that is kind of cool. Pass through some nice horse farms here in Prosper, Texas. Saw an article the other day saying that Tesla was sitting on $200 million worth of Cybertrucks. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. They're all made in Texas, and we get 3 aerial views a week. And they're shipping out hundreds every week, at least the last 3 weeks that I've paid attention to. I think there was some time in February, early February, where they were still finishing up the changeover. Maybe it was late January, finishing up the changeover to the new Model Y, and they weren't spitting out a whole lot of anything. Which we knew that was happening, and of course we got the proof Wednesday with the numbers for cars shipped and manufactured and sold for the first quarter. 13% below estimates, or maybe it was the same quarter last year, but that wasn't a big surprise. Immediately the stock took a dive, and 10-15 minutes later it was surging ahead, like down 10 points and then up 20 points all in the same day. That's why I think today is just a buying opportunity. I cannot imagine owning another car that does not have full self-driving. And there's nobody anywhere close to Tesla. Oh, Rick, Waymo's been doing this for years. Where you been? No, they haven't. Google's Waymo operates in a very small, confined place in San Francisco and maybe one other place. It's geofenced to a small area. They've got super high resolution maps that they're driving off of. Tesla's FSD can go anywhere. not just a select number of interstate highways like Ford and Chevy and everybody can do on the highway, basically just cruise control. Nobody's close to this. Just so much fun to drive or ride in. I don't do very much driving. Coming out of my garage and putting it back in the garage or the driveway. Again, last October was the first time I'd ever driven any kind of Tesla. I still have a hard time differentiating between the Model Y and the Model 3. There's no one that's small and one that's smaller. That's another reason why I got the CyberTruck. I'm larger than the average bear. When you have to go to a big and tall man shop to get your clothes, since you were 16 or 17, you just learn to buy something large enough that you're comfortable in. And this is so comfortable. It's so, like I said, it's so nice inside, you forget how how funny looking it is. And you see one coming from the opposite direction. You say, wow, is mine as funny looking as that one? It's angular, isn't it? Just a whole bunch going the other way. Threes and Ys. More threes and more Ys. If I didn't mention, my name's Rick. Welcome to the channel. I'm not the greatest commentator, like so many of my other YouTube friends, but I just love recording what's going on, just to keep record and share what I find, and love to hear the comments. In that regard, we're all kind of like beta testers, and I'm okay with that. That's a neat thing about this community of people. Yeah, I think that's a Model Y right there. I think that's a Model 3 because it looks smaller. A little roundabout up here in front of us that a few times, more than a few times, as we go around to the left rear tire will go up over the curb, and I'll disengage and send a message to Tesla. But the last few times I've come around here, it's tried to accelerate rather quickly right as we start to get into the turn, like right about here. No, well, yeah, accelerated kind of before we got to the end of the turn, but that wasn't too bad. I am on hurry, but I think I was on standard or chill when it sped out of there the other day. It's not perfect, but it is dang close. Got kind of a blind left turn across two lane travel in both directions here, and the way the street curves in to my left, a car can get back there and kind of be hidden behind these big trees. FSD came to stop the other day and inched out to start, and then here comes this car going about 50 miles an hour, and it just slammed on the brakes. No problem today. But you know, when humans look, we kind of look to the left, look to the right. We're supposed to look to the left again. And if I hadn't, or if the truck hadn't looked left again, I would have been T-boned. Little car, as I recall, so I probably wouldn't have been hurt too bad, but still. Okay, I'm home again. Thanks for riding along. Please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe. See you guys again soon. Take care.